Everything paranormal. Para-X. The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host and their guests do not necessarily reflect those of Para-X, its affiliates, or its sponsors.
Merry meet and merry part, bright the cheeks and warm the heart. For tread the circle thrice about, to keep unwelcome spirits out. Abide within the law you must, in perfect love and perfect trust. Mind the threefold laws you should, 3 times bad and 3 times good. These 8 words the read fulfill, and ye harm none, do what ye will.
Welcome to Stirring the Cauldron. Now, here's your host, Marla Brooks.
And merry meet everybody, and welcome to Stirring the Cauldron. It's that time of year, and aside from witches and goblins and all the other frightful things that lurk around every corner, ghosts are probably on everybody's mind. And so who better than the host of several Ghost Chronicle radio shows and the founder of the New England Ghost Project, Ron Kolek and I are here, and we're going to be talking ghosty. So if anybody in the chat room has any questions, you can just fire away. And if you're not listening to if you're listening to the live show, you can be part of the chat room by coming over to paraxradionetwork.com, and you can ask a few questions and comments as well. So, Ron, did you have your Wheaties for breakfast today? Because I think I'm going to pick your brain about ghosts the whole hour.
Well, you have to have a brain to get picked, and the zombies got me a long time ago.
Okay, then I'm fine, right?
Yeah, you're good.
Uh-huh. So, we've talked about it. We go back 100 years, and we've talked about ghosts and hauntings and all that stuff. But
Ghost turtles,
and your iguana too, right?
Oh, I haunted iguana. Yes.
Yeah. So there's a lot of haunted things going around and a lot of ghosty things. But I actually looked for some of the most commonly asked questions about ghosts.
Oh God.
I know. Well, no, they're not all bad. And I made up a few in my head, too. My diabolical grain. Yeah, my brain is a grain.
See, you hang around me, you start to talk like me.
I know. It could be worse. But, all right. So first, simple question.
Yes.
What's the difference between a ghost and a spirit in your way of thinking?
It's who you ask the question to. To me, I use them interchangeably. A lot of people tell you, different things. Like a ghost is basically a replay or a residual versus a spirit, which is a disembodied entity. But everybody's got their own opinion of it. I use them interchangeably anyway. So
I kind of do too. But some people
I'm not PC,
Well, I would never say you were. But people some say that ghosts are spirits of humans that haunt, as opposed to spirits in the ghost manner.
Oh, that's another way of looking at it too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's kind of interesting. All right, so
got that one out of the way without too much blood.
See? Well, we're just getting started, so, I've got my seatbelt on still. All right. So are ghosts just human spirits, or are there other types of ghosts?
Well, no, because if you see a animal apparition, oh, that's right, is an apparition a ghost? There you go. You have to ask that question. If you see an animal apparition, that would be a non-human ghost, wouldn't it? Yes, it would.
Mm-hmm.
So, there you go.
Yeah, and I think Yeah.
You want me to tell you the ghosts, elementals, and all that other stuff, and shadow people and trans.
Well, I was going to ask about shadow
Yeah,
people because that's
it's
really
weird.
controversial because some people say, they're evil and whatever. Some people say that um, they just kind of pop in here and there, but they're really just human ghosts human spirits that just haven't figured out how to, turn themselves into something more solid that we could see.
They're just misunderstood. That's all.
Not the ones with the hats. I don't
Oh
think
yeah, here
they're
we go with the hat people. Yeah.
so they say.
What about
Yeah.
that? What's that guy, Skinny Charlie or something like that? I forget the heck of his name is. That guy.
Um, yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
don't know. Whatever. I mean,
yeah.
we know that people see non-clear apparitions of black shadows and everything. Are they the same thing as the shadow people, or are they just like haven't got their hats yet? Or I don't know.
Well, some of them, they say that people that we've talked to or I've talked to that have seen, like, one of them, it's solid. You can't see through them, like
Uh,
you say with some regular ghosts. Well,
no,
sometimes.
regular ghosts. What makes you think regular ghosts can see through them?
Well, some of them.
I've seen like at least three apparitions that I believe in my
Yeah.
lifetime, and they were as solid as you and me. Well, maybe you. I don't know how solid I am anymore.
No, I'm with you because I've seen a couple too, and
Yeah.
they, they look like people, and yeah, but
Dogs.
I guess everybody has a stereotype that the ghosts they float, they're very vibrant, they you can
It's their
see,
beliefs, right?
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, everything we see and do goes all through our own little brains, which has that little cloud of beliefs in it. So we see things differently all the time. You ask police what the worst evidence is, and they'll tell you the eyewitness report because you can get 10 people with 10 different eyewitness accounts of the same thing that happened or the same person they saw. It's all the way we see and perceive, and even our own beliefs, whether they be religious or whatever, our beliefs were also tainted. So, I mean, you look at. I remember interviewing a Baptist ghost hunting group. Well, except they weren't a Baptist ghost hunting group; they were a Baptist demon hunting group because the Baptists believe that when you die, you either go to heaven or you hell. There is no middle ground.
mm,
So, I mean, it's all you're all by guided by your beliefs. That's why I taught paranormal CSI. When we collect, the idea was to collect evidence. Is you check your beliefs at the door. You don't take them with you. You just collect the evidence strictly on the cold hard facts.
mm-hmm. Okay, well, and speaking of religion, when I'm not up on my religion,
Mhm.
or any religion really, but when you speak about the Holy Spirit, is that a
Mhm.
ghost?
Well, the ghosts are mentioned throughout the Bible. The spirits. I mean, the witch of Endor, when she wakes
Yeah.
up Saul and he comes in there, he's got a sheet over his head, basically a burial scowl, but and he's all pissed off because he was woken up, and so yeah, it's I don't know. They're mentioned everywhere. That the Holy Spirit is an interesting fact, and that in the Catholic religion, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit are one
Yeah.
and the same. They're
Right.
almost like in quantum physics, where two particles can be in two places at two times. So it's similar to that type of thing, for a lack of a better term to drive it. But once again, that's beliefs. But it is what it is.
Yeah. Okay. Because I always got confused about the Holy Spirit because I always thought, when I was a kid hearing about it, oh, it's a ghost. Oh no, and it
Well,
was.
the spirit is just what it is. It's spirit. When the spirit comes upon you, uh, it's like almost an enlightenment or a possession, even where you reach the different state of being. So it's a little It's like, when you're in a bad mood and all of a sudden you play your favorite song and it kind of brings you up a little bit. So it's kind of like that. It has that effect on us. So
Okay.
that's what it is. It's a mechanism, I guess, for lack of better terms.
Well, something you grow up with, and it goes into your brain early. So
Yeah.
yeah, okay. All right. So let me see. All right.
By the way, these are just my own beliefs. So I mean,
Well, I know. That's why I said picking your brain. Yeah.
What's left of it?
What's left of it, exactly. We're all getting that way, but that's another show. So this time of year, it is said that the veil becomes thinner and ghosts can easily come through as opposed to other times of the year when they probably can't, I think. I don't know. So do you think it's true that there is a veil that thins at this time of year and it's a kind of an easy portal from here to there?
That's another belief. I mean, what was not the Druids, but what is the pagans?
Celts?
What do you got?
The Celts?
Sure, whatever. Anyways, some of those older groups, that was their beliefs. And they believe this time of year, and that's what they celebrate. I mean, we have, like even the Mexicans, they celebrate the Festival of the Dead and so forth. It's, and dumb suppers. It's, but I mean, spirits, if you go to all the accounts of history and sight of spirits and reports of spirits, and you'll see that they're spread out throughout the year. They just don't come around Halloween. It's just like the newspapers have their story at Halloween. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's a theory that the veil is the thinnest.
Yeah, I just think that they can come in and out anytime they want.
Sure, they can.
Once they get over there and learn the ropes, probably take a time or two to figure it out.
They're fine.
Yeah.
Get their transit ticket, and they're good.
They don't have to pay a toll either.
No. Not that we know of. You never know.
Well, they paid it when they were still on Earth. They paid all the tolls that they need. So they have a ticket. Like, I don't know. I was going to say.
Especially if they live in Massachusetts.
Huh?
Especially if they live in Massachusetts.
Got one every, mile and a half on the freeway?
Yeah, I don't know. Something ridiculous.
Or do you call it a freeway?
Turnpike. That's all right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We all got it.
Remember, this is the old part of the country, so we do the English thing.
Well, no, that's good. I mean, freeway and yeah, I think that's all. But we say in California, it's the freeway. Well, maybe the highway.
Yeah, freeway.
Maybe in the suburbs they call it the highway.
Don't they call it the freeway?
Yeah, we do. I mean, it's a freeway. Yeah.
I mean, everyone's got their different names for the things, but it's like people ask you all the time, "Oh, New England, that you must have a lot of ghosts," because it's like, well, no, it doesn't matter how old the place is. There's ghosts everywhere. There's, I mean, California has their Chiasotas and Florida and Iowa and the rest of them. And it's once again, it's the reports that you go by, not necessarily just because of building. We don't have to look for excuses for it.
Yeah, I always, people say, "Oh, a haunted house," and I'm thinking, well, all houses have spirits. Every inch of the world has spirits. It's not just.
Does it? I really don't know that. I can't tell you that.
That's what I think. I mean.
No, that's your opinion. That's good.
Yeah. Because okay.
Are they coming here for a reason, or doing it for a reason, or are they just like hanging around for no reason at all? I mean, wouldn't it be a better place than,
You would think so.
I think I would, and go somewhere else. Unless there was somebody I wanted to torment, and then I would certainly be here.
I'm sure you've got a list already.
Like Steve Parson.
But, I mean, it's... Yeah. Oh, God, I forgot what I was going to say. I
do that.
Yeah, I know, you did it. You did it. But I'll get back to that. Not a problem.
Do that. Make a note.
Okay, so is a poltergeist a ghost?
That's an interesting question. A lot of parapsychologists believe it's a adolescent child creating it, and it has, to me, it has the same effects. I mean, moving things around and everything is also can be done by spirit. And by the way, we don't know what the hell a ghost is. I mean, it's easy to say, is it a ghost? I mean, if you believe what you believe, that's, most people believe it's the disembodied spirit of a person. But, other people believe it's demons. Other people believe it's something else. But anyway, I don't particularly believe in that aspect as it. But then again, there's no proof on it one way or the other. So I mean, I know Steve and I have talked about it a lot of times. He doesn't believe it. It's so much a product of an adolescent child, but it's something more than that.
What does he think it is? What is that something more?
Oh, a ghost, if you want to go for the simple solution.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, okay. It just, I mean, people think everything's a poltergeist if a ghost comes in the house, or, if a house is haunted or whatever. If it's a spirit that's been angry all its life, it took the DNA with him. And so, if they would come in and throw stuff around and make noise and stuff too. So it doesn't, there's a difference between ghost, spirit, or whatever it could be. But I know a lot.
Why would you do that? Why would you do it?
What, throw stuff around?
Yeah.
Well, you're still kind of pissed off at the world and the underworld and the overworld, maybe.
So you would just go to one particular house and throw stuff around?
No, it'd probably be for a reason, like if
it's got to be a reason. There's
somebody you hated or something, or you just have to get it off your chest. Yeah. So I mean, it could be 10,000 other things, but I think
conjecture, Marla. No matter what we do, it's all conjecture.
Well, of course, yeah. So I just think that I'm not sure about the poltergeist theory about the children that are getting into adulthood and that period of time that they do that. I mean, it's possible, but then that's what. Oh my God, I forgot the word. That's terrible.
Telekinesis?
Yeah, I think that's it. You are rubbing off on me. Yeah, but there is that, because, I mean, Lloyd Auerbach talks a lot about telekinesis and things.
Yeah.
So,
he's a psychologist.
Yeah,
I'm not sure what how he stands on that subject, but
I should remember, but I don't.
I know I've had him on my shows before, and I'm sure we discussed it at one point over time.
Yeah, and then it goes poof, because we have other things that come up, and it's terrible. But yeah. But I think, I don't know, what about Kieran O'Keefe? Has he ever talked about poltergeists?
Don't know. Haven't spoke to Karen in years.
No, well, I haven't either. I mean, well, no, I've had him on the show, but I don't think I've ever had him talking about poltergeists. There's a whole bunch of stuff out there that, it's good to talk about, but it's never going to be resolved, as you said. It's all what we think and what we grew up with and what we believe.
And that's, there's so many ghost hunting groups, so many people involved in this. You think we would come up with some more answers, but nobody's really doing the research. And you do research. I mean, as you come up with the theses and then you try to prove that thesis or disprove that thesis, and collect evidence to back up that thesis, and then you publish it, and you get somebody else who comes up, and they try to reproduce what you did and see if they get the same results. But there's none of that going on. So it's all everybody running around taking pictures and catching voices on recorders or noises on recorders, and that's what ghost hunting has become nowadays. There should be much more paranormal research, and I really disappointed.
Well, the research can be done, but can you totally know scientifically that this is what's going on? I mean, I don't know how you can do that. How can you prove that?
You have to prove it.
But how do you prove it?
I don't know what your thesis is. You have to decide what you're attempting to prove, or and then go from there. But you can't just collect evidence and then say, okay, I'm going to do this or that. It's you can't. You'll never be able to solve anything because you never came in with the theses that you're trying to prove.
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess they've done some research and makes some sense, and I mean, they haven't turned their back on it, but maybe there's other things to do, or maybe just there's so many people out there that would just try to dispel it anyway because they wouldn't believe, even if they're okay. This is a bad thing, but if
a bad thing. Oh, I like
well,
that.
no. If Jesus came down, came down on the earth and walked around, nobody would believe it was him. I mean, well, some people would, but a lot of people wouldn't. That's just some crackpot walking down the street. George Burns or somebody.
But I mean, you say that, but you look at how many people have seen the Blessed Virgin and going crazy, and it's not, they just have somebody else's word and everything. They just go totally crazy over it. So there is, once again, it's all about beliefs. But you hit that on the neck, because when I first started doing a ghost investigation, I was either going to disprove or approve the existence of spirits. But then I soon realized that, once again, even if a ghost came up to some people and slapped them across the face, they would rationalize it off and wouldn't believe it. Then other people, the lights flicker and they think it's a ghost. So it's a hard thing to prove or disprove. But there are certain things you have to take little steps at one at a time and start working towards that point. UFOs, I mean, you can prove or disprove it. If one lands on the White House lawn and the guy comes out with his robot, we might believe in UFOs. If we find the body of a Bigfoot, we might believe in, Bigfoot. So, I mean, there are certain things that, same with cryptoids. Cryptoids is probably the most ones that we can definitely prove or disprove eventually. So, I mean, it's a difficult field.
No, it is. And
once again, because we don't know what a ghost is.
And my theory is that we're not supposed to know everything. I don't think that them up there, whoever they may be, don't want us to know. But by the same token, people have, gone to mediums and gotten messages from the other side. So it's 6 to 1, a half dozen of the other. Somewhere along the line. Anyway.
Well, we got the messages. Do we know they're really from the other side?
Well, I don't know. I mean, how can...
Maybe don't.
I mean, if you have a decent medium, somebody that's trustworthy, well...
Right. So even a medium can't prove that message came from the other side. They may believe.
No, they can't. No,
they can't. No, they can't.
They whatever they're doing. But it just, there are people...
They can get a message, and they might come up with something in a reading that's absolutely head on, right on.
Yeah.
And they might think they're getting that message from a dead person, but we have no idea if they really are. Maybe they're getting the message from the person they're reading's mind. Maybe they're getting it from a greater consciousness and just tapping into a greater consciousness. There's no proof that it came from a dead person. They believe they're getting it from a dead person, and I believe they believe that. But once again, we have no proof that that's exactly where it's coming from.
Yeah, it's coming from somewhere, and we can't put our fingers on it.
Yeah, and it may be accurate. I'm not saying it isn't accurate, and it's amazing what mediums can do, but we just don't know where the information is coming from.
Yeah, and are we ever going to learn that? Probably not until we get on the other side either.
That's true.
Chat room says, since we have no clue what ghosts are, then how do you go about proving it?
Baby steps. you have to look at certain things. Like, for instance, I don't know what you're trying to see. You said what's going on. So that's what you got to start off with what you're trying to prove. Okay, are you trying to prove the existence? Wait a minute. You can prove, or you can demonstrate that paranormal activity can occur, but is it from a ghost? For instance, can we ever prove the existence of ghosts? Because we don't know what a ghost is, even to this day. It's all in beliefs. I mean, I remember my good friend Richard Felix published this book, What is a Ghost? And he had, like all the different people, like Jason Hawes and Belanger and Karen O'Keefe, I believe, and Steve Parsons. They all gave up their opinion of it, and there were no matches virtually of the whole bunch of them. Each one had a different twist on it. So you're going to start with that, and then you say, okay, how can I prove that? And then you work on that point. That's what you're really trying to prove. It's not an easy thing, trust me. That's why we haven't had any answers, because there are no rules. It's difficult.
Yeah, another chat room comment was, she said, I think that once you've had an experience, then none of this matters. You just know. So maybe that, we can't put your finger on what it is, but you feel it.
You know in your own little mind. Like I said, I've seen 3 apparitions. Can I ever prove that those people that I saw were real? Of course not. No, I mean, it's just my own personal experience. So that's what ghosts really are, personal experiences. Because if you go through history, all the reports, they're all personal experiences. And they're usually it's not like a mass sightings of spirits. It's more of an individual throughout history than individual. So it is a personal experience, and I will agree with her 100%. And that person said it doesn't matter, and that's true. It doesn't matter in her mind. It's like religion. I believe there's a God. Can you prove there's a God? No, I can't. But I believe it. So there you go. I mean, it's just what you believe.
Believe is the key word.
Yep, it's all belief.
It is. You have to believe. I mean, we all have to believe in something. And if you, the only thing is, I would like when people believe what they're own thinking about, not taking it from somebody else.
Yes, that's a problem. We're too influenced by other people, which is the sad point. Because we really are a lot of smart people out there, and they don't think for themselves at times. They rather think. And you know what? That's the other thing. You look at some of these. We're talking ghost hunting now. Just go by that. You look at some of the TV shows they have out there, and they, they do things certain ways on certain shows, and so these other people are trying to emanate them. They do it this way, or they think it's the only way to do it, but it isn't, because once again, it's a wide open field. We don't know. If you're more independent thinking, you have a better chance of getting better evidence than someone who's just following someone else.
A lot of people are just sheep. I mean, they're afraid to make their own decisions because they aren't sure of themselves.
And most of the great discoveries in the world were discovered by amateurs, people who didn't follow the routine. They thought for themselves, and they came up with brilliant ideas.
Yeah, I think it's so diverse that you can't even start thinking about it or how to fix it or whatever. But I guess it starts with belief, and we have to believe in something. But like I said, it needs to be something that we believe in, not something that we were taught necessarily.
We have the person in the chat room mentioned about personal experiences once, and that's true in a lot of instances, because especially in religion, because you hear cases where someone who is definitely an atheist, and they have some type of experience, and after that they're totally changed. There are many books out there about people who that's happened to, where they had this personal experience and it changed their whole life, becoming from an atheist to a believer in religion.
Mhm.
It's that type of thing. Experiences move us personally, and it moved all the people throughout history personally on these reports in
Mhm.
one way or another. But
Yeah.
we can get influenced by other people. Once again, I mean, when ghost hunting first came out on TV, they just went in and it was either a ghost thing, and all of a sudden, even the ghost hunters when they first came on, they used to go into a place and tell you if it's going to be haunted or not haunted. They used to actually declare it haunted or not haunted, and
Mhm.
then assume every place they did was haunted because nobody wanted to see not haunted places. And
Mhm.
then eventually that wasn't good enough. It has to be demons, so we have to have demons everywhere we go. So it's just that way. People, they get scared. They see these movies. I mean, I did an investigation on a house, and we found, we gave them the evidence we found. Once again, we don't go in and say, "Oh, this is what it is. This is the evidence we collected, and this is our thoughts on it, and that's it." But they didn't want to believe that. They wanted to think they had a demon, even though there were no demonic anything going on. But
Mhm.
that's what they wanted to believe in. So
Yeah.
that's what it was.
Mhm. Well, we're going to take a break. So
Good.
everybody that's listening in better stand up and shake off that ectoplasm that's been hovering over their head. And we'll be back in 2
It's not.
minutes.
That's what it is. Flicking off
Hey,
your hand.
there's more Stirring the Cauldron with Marla Brooks right after these important messages.
What happens to a ghost when their home is torn down? No one thinks of the disembodied when they rip down old buildings, dig up cemeteries, and build clean, unhauntable condos. Every year, hundreds of spirits are driven out of their own haunts by the careless living to exist alone with no one to scare. At Para-X Radio, our hosts feel the plight of these evicted disembodied, and we're reaching out to you to please open your heart to one of these lost souls, such as the ghost soldier of the General Wayne Inn or the abandoned spirit cat of Benjamin Rush. So please, please, let a little spooky into your life. Won't you open your house to a ghost without a home?
Para-X.
Demons, vampires, werewolves, skinwalkers. All of this and more. Sunday nights at midnight on the Staring Into the Abyss radio show. Come, get lost with us.
Missed an episode of Stirring the Cauldron? Then be sure to check out marlabrooks.com and check out the archive. And while you're there, check out Marla's weekly Witches Oracle card reading. Explore the site to find many great resources, such as information on tarot, oracle readings, metaphysical consultations, and links to all of Marla's books. That's marlabrooks.com. Welcome back to Stirring the Cauldron. Once again, here's your host, Marla Brooks.
And my guest tonight is Ron Kolek, and we're talking about ghosts. And I got a good question for you. It's something you like to talk about. So when using a Ouija board, is it a ghost that comes through, or are there other entities that come through, or how can you tell the difference?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Do I have to answer that?
Yeah. Yeah, you like Ouija boards.
I do. I have a very nice collection of them, and I've used them quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And you can get some information from them, but Zozo isn't going to come whipping through my boards. I can guarantee you that. If he knows what's good for him, that is. I don't know. It's if you go back to beliefs again,
Yeah.
I did let's see, what was this? Oh, we were up in a lighthouse. I think it was Goat Island Lighthouse, and we were there on an investigation. It's on an island. I think it was Leslie Mudd and Jeremy Dontremont and my son and his fiance and the caretaker there. And it was, we were in the kitchen and we were doing a little glass swirling, and then to the glass swirling, it said, well, I want to do the Ouija board, basically. And we said, oh, sorry, we didn't bring a Ouija board. And then all of a sudden, the glass went flying off the table to the closet. We opened the closet, and there's a Ouija board. So we did the Ouija board. And, it's usual. I don't take a lot of stock in Ouija boards. There are interesting results. Don't get me wrong on that. But, the bottom line is, unless the planchette is moving by itself, then somebody's moving the freaking planchette. Whether it's the spirits going through them to move it or not, it's another story. But anyway, so, Leslie and Jeremy were doing the Ouija board, and supposedly he got his cafeteria worker from the college he went to when he was a younger person and whatever else. And then another spirit came through, and they wanted me on the board. So I said, oh, I know what this is going to be. Yeah. So they asked me a couple of times. I said, no. And then Leslie, I said, okay, finally. So I sat down with Leslie. We started doing the Ouija boards. And then, would you have a message for anybody? And then it spelled out my name. And then it said, what's your message? And it spelled out, you die. I said, oh, that's nice. When is this? I mean, we're all going to die sometime. And it said, tonight, spelled out tonight.
Oh, jeez.
It says, who's this for? I'm going to spell my name again. So, it was the usual crap. So, anyway, that was it. I'm still here, by the way. So, evidently, it missed its mark. But it was funny, though. We were sleeping upstairs in the upper floors, and we heard a noise went downstairs, and it was like early in the morning. I was like, I ain't getting up. But Rosie said, I ain't getting up, and it was the Jeremy said, I ain't getting up. And it's like, I don't want to either. But then I thought about that Ouija board. Maybe I shouldn't get up. So it's always been like, did I go because I was scared of the message, or was I just too freaking tired?
Probably a combination of both, because
probably
no matter, even if mediums give you bad advice, things that this is going to happen to you, you're going to break your toenail and tomorrow. A lot of times it makes it that we do it ourselves, subconsciously.
Yep.
And that.
But that's another psychology thing that it's not necessarily true. Like I had my display of Ouija boards at Spirit Quest this year and I had put them up on Facebook, and somebody said, oh, I had one of those when my girlfriend had one of those when I was a kid, and it told me that I was going to have 3 girls, and I got married and I got 3 girls or 3 boys. I forget what it was. Mm-hmm. And then some guy jumped on it and said, well, psychologically, you were on there, and you always wanted 3 boys, and therefore, you unknowingly use all this other ideal, whatever, all this other crap, and saying, therefore, you had 3 boys. It's like, that's bullshit. Oh, and he says, I read, end of story, I rest my case. And I wrote back to him. I said, no fun. And he says, well, welcome to my life. It's based on all facts, evidence and proof, facts and proof. And I says, all very well, except you have no facts and no proof. Basically, you have your own opinion. That's it. But that's what it was. People believe what they believe. If you get on the Ouija board and you think something bad's going to happen, something bad may happen. you may manifest it yourself in a way, but we don't know. I mean, uh, it seems like some people will tell you, well, don't know who you're talking to is like absolutely true because everybody thinks spirits don't lie, but they do.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, if you believe in spirits, you
Mm-hmm.
gotta believe a spirit is a person who was alive, and I'm sure they lied when they were alive one time or another. So, anyways, it's all beliefs, and you can let all these uh, things rule your life and be afraid of everything, or you can go out there and explore it and take whatever you say. And I mean, don't get me wrong. I always tell everyone, if you're not comfortable doing something, don't do it. Simple as that. There's
Mm-hmm.
a lot of reasons for that. So but you gotta don't be scared of everything in life. Life's got a lot to offer us.
Mm-hmm. It does. Ups and downs and roller coaster rides.
Yeah. But we learn from it.
We do. Yeah, we do.
Well, if we're smart enough.
Well, when I was looking to see all those questions that people ask, one of the most questions is, can ghosts hurt you?
Can ghosts hurt you?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Do you know anybody that was ever beaten up by a ghost or hurt?
There was a guy that got killed by the ghost train.
Oh, what, the ghost train?
Yeah. Some guy in, I think it was South Carolina or something, he went onto this railroad trestle where the ghost train came, and he was out there with his cameras and everything else, and the train came and, killed him, except it was a real train.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Oh, I got the ghost train. I got evidence. Splat.
Yeah. See? No, but I mean, people talk
Natural
about
selection.
they get scratched and they get tripped and they get smacked upside the head and.
Mm-hmm. But don't we have that in you're a former Catholic? Don't we have that in the stigmata, where people will bleed and suffer and certain wounds that will appear? Don't we have that in things like Van Munchausen disease and stuff like that? So we don't know the power of the mind. Are the ghosts really hurting you, or are you just doing yourself because that's what you believe?
Well, yeah. But I mean, people will say, I I got this scratch on my arm and I didn't do it and I felt it and it hurt really bad. Or someplace it's on the back of me and I can't reach that. And I wasn't near. What do you say about that?
Years and years ago, I did an investigation at the Lizzie Borden house. We were invited, and I had a group from the UK with me, and we were there. And we spent the night. We did a whole bunch of things, which was kind of interesting. Had some interesting results there, but then it was all done, and Leanne, she was the curator at the time, and she just recently passed. She said, you could stay the night. And I said, no, we got a long way to go. I got to, take her back. I said, I'm going. So I packed up the stuff and I headed out to the car. And when I got to the car, I looked at my hand and I had blood all over my hand. So knock, back on the door after she had locked up. I said, I'm sorry to bother you, but I got, I don't know how, but I cut myself somehow on my hand. So I went in and she cleaned it up, put a Band-Aid on it. She said, you sure don't want to stay? I said, no, it's all right. So headed back out to the car. And no sooner I got back to the car and looked at my hand, it was all bloody again. So I went back to the house and there was another cut on it. Now, that was interesting, but can I say, a ghost did that to me or a demon or whatever? No, it's just like it's an interesting event. I have no proof how it happened. I could have cut myself very easily. The first time, especially since I was like loading equipment and stuff. Second time, not so much because I had nothing in my hand. But it's just one of those things you look at and you note and you record and you say, that's interesting. That's all you can do really, because you have no proof on anything.
No, I mean, we all have that. Things that happen, and at the time, it's like, oh, this is strange. And you don't forget
But
them,
some
but
people freak out about it, don't they? They like, oh my God, I get scratched by
yeah.
a ghost. I get attacked by a demon. I get bitten by a Yahoo or whatever.
Oh, no, those people that are demon people, they never forget. Never, never.
I'm sure.
Where was I? I was right at the tip of my tongue. Oh, okay. So people say that ghosts show themselves to people in different ways, so that the person that they're seeing them may be able to recognize. Like somebody, if you didn't know anybody when they were young and you only knew what they were old, when they come back and you see them, they can come old instead. Mm-hmm. So do you think ghosts are shapeshifters?
Were they shapeshifters, or are they just showing you from the? You have to know what time is. I mean, some people believe that time happened all at once, and that ghosts and everything else are just coming through time. So, it's not necessarily that they have to shapeshift or anything. They're just showing you from a different point of their lives. I mean, we all have looked differently throughout our lives. Oh God,
Mm-hmm.
did I ever? But. That's what I mean. We did Franklin Pierce College, and we went out there, and Maureen was with me, who was a medium,
Mm-hmm.
and she described the person that she saw, who it sounded very much like Franklin Pierce, and she got his age, and I forget what his age at that point in time was, like 70 or something, or 50, say 50. And then the reporter that was with us wrote the article afterwards, and he said, well, she saw the time when he was 50, but Franklin Pierce died when he was 90. But that's not the point. He was showing her what he looked like, what he expected her to see. We have messages, for instance. People believe that we have messages from loved ones, and that can show up in a lot of different ways, not necessarily even an apparition, but as, as a symbol that they would recognize from that particular person. My mom saw my dad after a family cookout. He had died, and she didn't believe in ghosts or anything, by the way. And she was in bed at night, and she looked up and she saw him. He was all dressed up in a suit, but he showed himself in the suit. He didn't die that way, but that's what he showed himself. And he stayed for a while until she screamed, and then he disappeared. So, I believe that part that if spirits are really deceased people and they show you or can show you what you want to see, something that you would easily identify. And, even if you talk to mediums, like I know my good friend Stephen Scott is a member of the Spiritual Church in Scotland, he'll tell you when he do a reading, he'll get information that a spirit will give him that makes no sense, or show him something that makes no sense to him at all, like a pint of vanilla ice cream or something. And he says he's got to convey that message to the person that says this is vanilla. And that right away hits a home on it, because that was a particular brand of ice cream that he ate every night or something, or they ate together. So, yeah.
I got another comment from the chat room. When deceased ancestors visit you in a dream, you talk with them, and they give you prophetic information that comes to pass.
I love it.
What would that ancestor be defined as? A ghost, a spirit, an entity, or just grandma?
Do we have to? Yeah, just grandma. Do we have to give him a name? I mean, it's grandma. That's where the information comes from. I mean, I'm a prolific dreamer. I get long dreams and very vivid dreams. And I've always wondered about that. I get what I call awakened dreams, where I'm actually awake in a different and I get my eyes are open, and I
Mm-hmm.
don't see where I am. I actually see my not myself, but I see a different place totally.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's yeah. I mean, we don't have to get. Why do we have to label them as a ghost or a spirit or a
Yeah.
demon
Yeah.
or a thing? It's if it's grandma, it's grandma. Um, I was just talking to my sister in California, and when her son had got hit by a car when he was riding a bike
Mm.
and got seriously injured. And she was in her room at night and she heard something in the closet. She opened it up the door and it was Bobby. Bobby is my grandmother,
Mm-hmm.
um, who had died, who had been dead. And she told her that her son had been hurt. And sure enough, not long after that, she got a phone call from the police.
Mm-hmm.
So, there are so many instances of this. I call them messenger ghosts. It's
Mm-hmm.
the number one sighting of spirits throughout history and throughout the world. It's someone who has a message for you, or they let you know that something has happened or not.
Yeah. Somebody mentioned lucid dreaming in the chat room, and yeah, lucid dreaming is very different than regular dreaming.
It is. It is. It's
Yeah.
interesting though because I'm so aware of it because I know I'm awake and I just don't want to leave it. I want to continue watching as long as I can. But
Mm-hmm.
the funny part about it, like I told you, I'm a prolific dreamer and I can remember quite a bit of it. When my mom was dying, and I came to visit her, and I sat in her bed all night long, and in the nursing home or recovery home where she was recovering. She
Mm-hmm.
didn't die there. Eventually, she went home and to hospice and died. But that long night was way after visiting, and she started telling me all the things that happened in the past. And one of the things she told me, which I had no clue, was that her mother's father in Poland was I don't that's what he did. He did dream, and when someone died in the village, they would go to him, and he would dream about them that night and bring them messages from um, the other side. Now, I had no
Wow.
clue. Yeah, I had
Wow.
no clue that even existed. But
Uh,
yeah,
Ran in the family.
maybe that's my DNA. I don't know, but I am a dreamer. I really do a lot of dreaming.
Yeah, I just I think lucid dreaming. I didn't know what it was, but I've had a couple of them, really,
Yeah.
really strong ones. And then I knew somebody that was writing a book on it, and in fact, he's got a book coming out very soon. Um, and it made a lot of sense.
Mhm.
It divided the stupid dreams, the nonsensical dreams. But then when you're sitting there and you're talking to somebody that's deceased and you're having a conversation with them
Mhm.
rather than just having them around, that's a whole different story.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I had a dream the other night, which was totally cool. It was long. It was a very long dream, and I remember the whole thing. But the gist of it was that I had written a country and western song, and it's a big long song. I could actually remember the song, the entire gist of the song, and everything else. And but it eventually ended up winning Song of the Year. Uh, and I was known as Ronnie Dixie Kolek, and my backup group was the Antebellum, uh, which is kind of interesting because those were the two non-PC groups that Chicks changed their name from Dixie Chicks to Chicks, and the Antebellum, Lady Antebellum changed their name to Lady A. So it shows you where my sympathy is. But it was so cool. The whole dream was so long and detailed. And like I said, I know the lyrics of the song. I know my acceptance speech. It was just so weird, but it
Wow.
was cool. It was very cool.
Yeah, I think, sometimes we
Just
wonder
trust me, I
about.
can't sing.
I would never ask you to sing. Just
No,
no offense, but I just
no,
don't think you don't have
no,
this,
not in my DNA.
not the pipes. Yeah, for that. Well, thank God you have other better things that you do, so
Yeah,
that's okay. We won't
good,
miss your singing.
good.
Um, the ghost of Father Time is telling me that it's our time quickly running out.
Yes,
so
but I have an announcement to make before you do that.
Go for it.
Okay, so as I mentioned in my post, that I would make an announcement regarding Ghost Chronicles Next Generation. So coming up, I've changed the format around. I now have 4 different co-hostesses, whatever.
Say that 3 times.
4 different women they're joining the show, one each week. And Marla has agreed to become one of my co-hosts. So once a month, she'll be co-hosting with me on Ghost Chronicles Next Generation, along with the Blonde Bombshell. She's coming back for that. And Leslie Martin, who is a very good friend of mine and a medium, and also Maureen Wood, the original Ghost Chronicles co-host. So a whole new look at Ghost Chronicles Next Generation.
You got a whole motley crew of us, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, good luck you.
I don't know why I got so many women around. They're all pain in the asses.
Uh-huh. But I'm your favorite.
So annoying. So annoying.
And you love every minute of it. So so when is that going to be on? When is it starting?
Starting, actually, November 1st with Marla Brooks.
That might shut you down completely for the rest of the time.
Yeah, probably, but that's another story.
Yeah, we'll worry about that later. So good. And everybody, tell everybody else about the other shows and when they are.
Sure. You can catch them on all. The easiest way to catch them is on the podcast. They're Ghost Chronicles International, Ghost Chronicles Next Generation, Ghost Chronicles Morning Edition, and the Affection Connection. You can find those on different podcast platforms.
And where's a website address that people can go check you out?
Why would they?
Oh, you'd be surprised.
Okay. AnyGhostProject.com. The letter N, the letter E, ghostproject.com.
All right. Well, thank you for jumping in. And I like talking about ghosts and stuff. So
I'll let you run the whole hour with it. I didn't interfere too much.
I know. This is amazing. I think are you going to tell Steve Parsons that you didn't do that?
No.
Okay. All right. I won't tell him either. But, thank you for materializing here for tonight. And I hope you and all the listeners are going to have a good Halloween. And for those who celebrate Samhain, blessed be. And we're out of here. So, as I usually...
named after sour milk?
Yeah. You got it. So everybody, again, blessed be and merry meet again. Good night.
This has been another edition of Stirring the Cauldron with Marla Brooks. Be sure to tune in next week at the same time for another great guest and more fun. Any rebroadcast or other use of this program without permission is strictly prohibited. Copyright 2009.
You have been listening to the Para X Radio Network.